Happy Halloween, everybody, and welcome to the McCall's kitchen. My name is Elisha, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to make the perfect pumpkin dessert for your Halloween gathering. We're making some pumpkin cakes together, so they're not actually going to just taste like pumpkin. They're also going to look like pumpkins. They're going to be mini pumpkins. We're going to bake them together. We're going to decorate them together. We really hope you guys enjoyed our last Halloween videos. Perfect for the kiddos. This one's great for the kiddos as well. And next up is holidays, so make sure you guys subscribe. We've got some fun holiday content coming. Let's get started on the baking. Alright, so we've got all our ingredients measured out and ready to go. They're going to be listed down below so that you guys can try this at home and follow along. This is a fluted cupcake pan that we're going to be using, and you can pick this up at McCall's. It is nice to have for any mini desserts you're going to be making, and we're also going to be preheating our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit so that it's ready to go for our cakes. First thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to be combining the oils with the sugars. So we've got vegetable oil and coconut oil, which has been melted, along with our white granulated sugar and then brown sugar. So I'm going to show you guys the first step, and then we'll move forward for our pumpkin spice cake. So I'm going to mix this together, and then we'll add our dry ingredients. So the one more thing that we're going to add to the mixture is our yogurt. So the next thing is just giving your bowl a quick scrape down, and then we're going to add our eggs. The important thing about adding eggs is we're going to add them one at a time. So you're going to make sure that one is fully incorporated before we add the next one. Last egg, and then next step is our dry ingredients. So one important step before we add our dry ingredients is we're actually going to sift them together. So I've got some flour here, I've got a bunch of different spices, I've got baking soda and salt and baking powder. So we're going to get everything combined and sifted and then into our wet mixture. Alright, everything is in there, and let's put it all together now. So the last step is now adding our pumpkin puree and our dry ingredients. So the key step here is that we're actually going to add them one at a time. So we're going to do 1/3 of the flour, 1/3 of the pumpkin puree, and alternating until they're all in there. And then we're going to mix just until combined. We're not going to overmix this, and then we're going to get it into our pan. So I'll show you what I mean. We're just going to be putting it in alternating patterns. So we're going to put a little bit of the flour mixture. And we're not going to mix fully. Before it's fully mixed, we're going to add 1/3 of our pumpkin mixture, or canned pumpkin. And again, we're going to add our flour, just leaving a little behind for that last step. And now for a little bit more of our pumpkin. Okay, and then our last bit of our dry mixture and our last bit of our pumpkin. So we've mixed just until everything is combined. We're not going to overmix this. And now you can either use a piping bag, or you can just spoon the mixture into the pan, depending on if your pan has the separation in the middle, but this one doesn't, so we can just go ahead and spoon everything in and then get into the oven. Let's get this delicious pumpkin spice cake into the pans and then into the oven. I'm just going to be using a spoon and a spatula to do this so that it's nice and clean. And I already went ahead, as I mentioned before, and I put butter and flour into the pan. You can also use a pan spray, something that is safe for baking, or you can also use oil, but I always find that butter works best. If you haven't already, make sure that your oven is warm and ready to go so that we can get these into there. Just gonna tap the tray, see if there's any one of them that needs a little bit more. All right, our pans are ready to go. I'm gonna pop this into the oven and then I will see you very shortly. Our pumpkin spice cake is all ready to go. The next step is gonna be decorating it. These turned out so good and they smell delicious. I just wanted to show you guys how easily this pops out of the pan, and I love the shape. It's gonna make a perfect pumpkin. So let me just toss these into the fridge so that they cool down and then we can start decorating together. All right, let's start decorating. So the first thing you're gonna need to do is you're gonna wanna trim off this little dome on the cake. I've already done that here, and we're using the 2 bottom halves for our base for our pumpkin. It doesn't need to be neat because it's all gonna be getting covered, and pumpkins aren't always even anyway, so it can be a little lopsided, but I'm gonna show you how I just trim off the top, and then we'll fill it with some cream cheese buttercream, and then we'll make our pumpkin shape using our buttercream. You can put as much as you'd like, and if you want, you could just take an offset spatula and just smooth it out ever so slightly. Now let's go and start actually building our pumpkin. So what we're gonna do is we are going to first, so we're gonna be putting some buttercream on the base, and don't worry, we're gonna be adding a lot of buttercream here and then scraping it away, because we want to shape our pumpkin. So don't worry, don't get scared. You're gonna be like, Elisha, this is a lot of buttercream, but it's really not. First, I'm gonna layer it in buttercream, and then I'm gonna show you what kind of tool we use to scrape it all away. So now that our pumpkin is getting going, it's almost there, we're gonna cut our tool out that we're gonna be using to shape our pumpkin. So we're gonna use any clear container that you have at home. It's gonna be something that's a little bit flexible so that you can cut into it. And we are going to be cutting, first, we're gonna cut a square out. And you wanna make sure that you have an adult doing this, so you don't injure yourself. We've got our piece of container that we're now going to cut into a triangle piece, or a triangle point, I should say. So you're just gonna snip off the sides there. And we've got our point. I'm sure you guys can see that. So this is what we're gonna start to use to create the nice ridges in the pumpkin. And what I like most about this DIY tool is that it has a curve, so you can almost start to shape the roundness of the pumpkin. So you're gonna wanna just add a bowl so that you can scrape off the icing. And we're gonna be doing this very gently so we don't scrape away too much, but we're still building the shape. So as you can see, the shape of our pumpkin is coming together, and now we're just gonna make another tool out of our container so that we can start to curve it a little bit more before we go in with our final smoothing. Now that we've gone away and we've scraped away some of our icing, we're gonna make another tool, and this one's gonna be a little bit more U-shaped so that we can really build those round ridges on the pumpkin. So again, I'm just gonna cut out another piece of the container. So as you can see, this one is more U-shaped, and this is really gonna help us shape that pumpkin, but we're still gonna chill it in the freezer for a little bit so that it gets a little bit more round and we can go in and shape it with our hands. I'm just gonna take my pointy tool again and reframe some of those lines, and then I will toss it into the freezer. pretty good shape going there. I'm actually just gonna toss it into the freezer to let it chill before we go in again, just so that we have a nice good base to work on. So now that it's had some time to chill, I'm actually just gonna go in and smooth it out a little bit more. This is very firm because it's been in the freezer for a little bit. I've washed my hands and I'm gonna use my fingers, the warmth of my fingers, to smooth it out, as well as a spatula here just to get into any grooves that I need to, and any spots that I wanna add more buttercream. So this part is fun, it's fun for the kiddos. We can definitely mold this together and make it look more like a pumpkin. So I'm just using the spatula to just bring the grooves a little bit higher and create some depth where it was lost. It also helps to really get under the pumpkin so that we can also shape the bottom at the same time. All right, this is coming together so well. I'm just gonna finish it off now, and then we're gonna add the stem together using some green fondant. So our pumpkins are all ready. I went ahead and I decorated one a little bit more funky to show you guys how you can have fun with your pumpkins. You can use the McCall's sprinkles. They have a bunch of fall and Halloween sprinkles and holiday coming up as well. This one is really fun. I used black and orange sprinkles in the grooves of the pumpkin, and I made the stems using the McCall's green fondant, and I used a knife to just cut some slits into it to give it a little bit more texture. So you can just give it a bit of curve and then stick it right into your center. And there you have it. Such an easy pumpkin. It was so fun to make. Honestly, it's such a good activity for the kids, even for adults if you want to get a little bit competitive about it, see who has the best pumpkin. You can color your pumpkin any color too and throw some sprinkles on it as well. But I had so much fun making this with you guys today. But we wanted to wish you all a very happy and safe Halloween. We hope you guys enjoy lots of sweets and lots of candy, and we'll see you next week back for holiday.